Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're just plain living here, and I'm John Gray.
Good morning. I'm Peggy Burton.
And I'm Jim Fuller.
And I'm just so glad to be alive today. How about you?
I am.
Always, yes.
Backstroke. I got here by backstroking.
Boy, we've had some rain.
I know.
Oh,
I know. It's been like a lake over to the back of my house.
Yeah.
Because I'm up on a hill, and it's just amazing.
And everybody's grass
But the
is getting
grass
high.
is green, and
yeah,
the
it's green.
flowers
Yeah,
are blooming. It's really nice. You know, actually, we needed the rain.
They're anticipating
did.
more rain this weekend, too,
know,
so a lot
I'm
of people
dreading
are
it.
going to go 2 weeks without it. They'll have to have a
And then
bush hog
Florida's
to cut the
burning
grass.
down. You know, they've had all those wildfires, burning up the wildflowers in Florida. And then there's Korea, so, you know, we got a lot to think about.
Yeah, and then there's Korea.
And there's Korea. Boy, that was a big switch there.
Wow.
You know, we need to feel blessed that all we've got to deal with is rain. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking.
Sure. Okay.
So there.
I guess that was a pretty
that
good
was the time,
connection
yeah.
there. Yeah.
You got to move fast to keep up
Right.
with me today.
Where are you going?
I don't know. Anyway, you were talking about the Kat's show at the Civic Center.
Yeah,
And,
Catherine Murray did.
She does so many
did-
great things for this community.
Yeah, his story told by her for the 11th time, and it was she had a great crowd, and she started off with I think 4 or 5 dancers. Now she's got 12, and Kenny Kiwakani does all
I'm
the.
so glad you can say that. I never could get that. Kiwakani.
Yeah.
He's quite a dancer, isn't he?
Yeah, he does all the choreography, and it's the choreography's great, and so it was a good show. She gives all the money away. She's done it 11 times and gives all the money to somebody, and this time it was Partners for Healing.
And that was a great cause right there.
Yes, it was. It's a
Yeah,
wonderful
you know,
cause.
and so
We rented the Civic Center, so that helps the Civic Center.
Yeah.
Sure. So it was a fun show. I was the MC. I've not MC'd her show before. She usually has a disc jockey out of Winchester that does it, and he had some family issue, health
So he
problem
couldn't
or
do it.
something. So
Yeah.
I ended up doing it, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
She does a great job.
Lot of
and
fun.
the kids that help her out. And it's nice to keep Michael Jackson alive.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what she's doing, yeah.
And I mean the people. I mean those songs, Thriller, and she does Thriller different every year. And this year she went and got costumes out of the comic books, and they were like Spider-Man, and you know, instead of the mummies and all that
Yeah.
stuff, there were superheroes.
There were superheroes.
We're doing that. So every year
That's clever.
she does something different to shake things up a bit.
She obviously puts a tremendous amount of work in
Oh.
at the end of that.
And
That's,
two of the young people live in what is it, halfway to Murfreesboro?
Oh, the gum community?
No, it's over there.
Christiana?
Christiana.
Yeah.
She drives to Christiana and picks these kids up for every practice and for the shows and stuff, and hauls them back and forth to Christiana.
Yeah.
So, and the one young man who started years ago, he walked up out of the crowd when he was about this tall 5 years ago, and had a little hat on like Michael
looked just
Jackson,
like
and looked
him,
just
yeah.
like him, and had his head down and his hand holding his hat, and he was dancing in front of the stage, and he was tremendous.
Yeah.
And he's the one that's going on to bigger things.
They couldn't figure out who he was because they couldn't see his face.
Yeah.
They finally found him out, and he's been in every show since then. And ABC has picked him up, and he's going to be in ABC in a show. Mm-hmm. And ABC's going to be here at the Civic Center the first week in May and interview him, and then go to his house.
And that's right on top of the big payback thing, isn't it?
Big Payback is
Is it May 2nd?
something like that. I don't
and,
know.
yeah.
I'm not.
I saw
up
the
on Big
video. Did you
Payback.
do that video?
No. Mm-mm.
Well, it was cute.
I did the one for him last year, but I don't know what.
This one is
who did this.
clever too.
So yeah, it's clever, and of course this weekend is Rent, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and
Friday,
Sunday.
Saturday.
The music from Rent, and they have a special event license to sell some adult beverages during that. So
Good.
you'll be able to get your adult beverage and listen to the music of Rent.
When I went to school at South Jackson, I don't think I would have ever thought there would be adult beverages available there. But it's good. I agree. It's a good thing to do.
Well, I mean, you have to look at it. It's a nonprofit. It's a 501c3,
sure.
but there's only so many entertainment dollars in a town, and you're in competition with everybody else who has entertainment.
And it's not that beer's sold at all the performances.
No.
It's going to be sold at this one, which is a good thing.
I think it needs to be sold at every performance we have. I think they need a license down there, just like T-Pack has, or the Franklin Theater, and these other things, because you're in competition with everybody else that does that.
On some level, I disagree a little bit. I think there are some events that are more family-oriented. I don't know. I'd think about it before I put it out there for everything.
But you can disagree if you want to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I live in America.
That's not a problem.
That's right.
I'm just thinking about keeping enough money fund running through that place to keep the doors open.
Yeah, I know.
And whatever it takes to do that, I think that needs to be done. But that's you know.
But you know, when you say whatever it takes, then that means you're going to compromise at some level. You got to be careful when you say whatever it takes. Let's don't debate.
We're not.
The Tullahoma City Board last night approved for 18-year-olds to run for the city office for alderman.
And that's really interesting.
It really is, and and the young man that
smart.
wants to do that is certainly
he is a very impressive young man.
He is an impressive young man. The voters will ultimately decide, but I think that was a good move on their part.
And there won't be if you're old enough to go die for your country, you need to be able to represent yourself.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you need to be able to do if you can do that. I agree totally with that.
I heard a story the other day about some young man who was a sniper for the military and carried a gun and was that's what he did. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't 21, and when he got home, he couldn't carry a gun in his own home state because he wasn't 21. Mm-hmm. Couldn't own a gun, but that's what he did for a living. Yeah. And I think that's really strange.
It is strange, yeah. And 1776, you're starring in it, right?
No, I'm not. That's why this hair is running down my back. Somebody asked me the other day, said, "Are you going back to the 70s?" And I said, "Yeah, 1770s is where I'm going back to." But yeah, 1776 is going to be the first week of June at South Jackson Civic Center. Second, third, fourth, and fourth. And
2, 3,
something like that.
1, 2, 3. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And Sunday. And the gala's going to be Saturday night. And Old Shed's providing all the beverage for that.
Oh, wait a minute. More adult beverages.
Yeah, well, see,
grab your ticket.
As I've gotten involved in this play, you didn't realize that most of those guys brewed their own beer.
Yeah, that is a big thing.
Well, yeah.
And they're drinking rum at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a wonder this country ever got founded. But it's a great play, and we have a wonderful cast.
I think it's a great time in history to do this.
Yeah.
Again.
Oh, it is. So, before we leave, we got 35 seconts. Today's low coup. Today's low coup.
Let's do it.
Silver hair on head, chest, and back. Pectorials transformed into breast. Holy scopes, I look like an old ape.
Oh, my gosh. That's depressing. Maybe I do need a drink.
I don't think I like that idea.
Don't look in that mirror. Oh, I don't want to look in that mirror. But I want you folks to stay with us. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Have you ever been involved in one of these? And you need one of these? Then look no further than the Russell Barnett Certified Collision Center with a state-of-the-art facility, aluminum capabilities, lifetime paint guarantee, Russell Barnett auto rental, claims assistance from start to finish. We are here to serve you. So stop by and let us show you why we are number one, the Russell Barnett Certified Collision Center.
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do,
Everyday Miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and this is our segment we refer to as Police Pointers. And joining us today, as I always try to introduce him, the star of this segment, Tullahoma Police Chief Paul Blackwell. How you doing?
I don't know if I'll go with the star part, but I'm here for you.
I like that star part. It sort of has a nice ring to it.
All right. I want to make you happy.
Yeah, okay.
I'm here to serve.
All right. You are here to serve, aren't you?
That's right.
That's right. And Paul, you have an interesting topic I think you're going to talk about today.
Yes. Well, I think it's interesting. To others, it may not be, but throughout the year, there's certain periods where I have certain topics I like to cover. And springtime, I usually like to talk about the noise ordinance. And I kind of preface that with it's that time of the year where people are opening their windows, the lawnmowers are getting tuned up, and we start getting more noise complaints. People start staying outside later and doing the things they do as the weather's starting to warm up. So ultimately we get called, hey, my neighbor's doing this and my neighbor's doing that. They've got their lawnmower running at 8 o'clock in the morning and I work the midnight shift. I can't get any sleep. So we have to get involved in some of these things.
That's got to be a complicated one, I think.
It is.
What do you do about that?
Well, you have to become a good diplomat and go out and speak to somebody, find out what the issue is, and see if you can help resolve it. You can't always do it, but especially that incident, like we're saying, someone that works the midnight shift, they get home at 7 o'clock in the morning, and the neighbor as soon as the grass is dry, cranks up the lawnmower and starts mowing. That's one of those things you pretty much just have to say, we can't stop it. Right. I mean, we're sorry that you have to work the midnight shift, and but those things happen.
That actually is one of the hazards of working that shift.
It is.
Most of the world is
right. For many years, I worked midnight shift as a police officer, and you're right. The rest of the world is doing what they do while you're trying to rest. And the phone rings, someone rings your doorbell, a lawnmower starts up or something, and you just have to kind of adjust. So we have to deal with that. Then, of course, we get the late calls of, hey, my neighbor's radio's playing. It's 11 o'clock at night. So we have to go out and try to intervene in that. What I hear a lot of times from people, and they'll say, well, I've always been told, or I've always heard, or an officer has told me that from, I'm just going to use a number, 10 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning, there's no noise at all. And me being the chief, I have to say, well, show me where that says that, because there's nothing in our ordinance that says there's a time period of a quiet period. So at 10 o'clock in the morning, a noise could be a violation. So there's no exceptions, there's no limitations. The only exception is like for emergency vehicles, our sirens and everything. We can, when we have to use them, we have to use them. Certain type of machinery, that is going to happen all the time anyway. So we have to kind of educate the public, and we have to educate our officers, because there are some officers that may have been told by another officer years ago about some time limit, and then I have to come in and let them know there is no time limit. There is no 10 o'clock to 7 o'clock restriction.
You know, as you're telling me about this, and don't lose that train of thought.
Oh, I'm good. Go ahead.
As you're telling me about this, I'm thinking, you know, back when I was in my 20s, I must have really had some nice neighbors, because I used to work where I didn't get off from work till 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'd come in sometimes and mow my yard at 2 o'clock in the morning. Nobody ever said anything.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's your schedule.
Yeah.
You know, say you get home at 2 o'clock in the morning, you want to go out in your garage and piddle around.
Yeah.
So what do? You open the garage door, you may turn your radio on, and you know, this is normal for you, but for the neighbor, it may not be normal. So we have to try to balance out that, you know, what is normal and what's not. But so we try to intervene. We try to remedy it, and if we can't, then all we can do is suggest to the people, you may have to go to court over this and get a judge to make a decision, because we're talking two different, maybe just two different schedules. Now, if you have someone that's intentionally being disruptive, that's a little bit easier for the officer to enforce then and there. You know, if an officer goes out there and he's standing on the corner or the edge of the street and he can plainly hear this noise, that's a violation.
If you can hear it at the edge of the...
Well, it's 50 feet. If you can hear and discern what the music is from 50 feet, it's considered a violation.
I'm glad you told me that, because you know, I don't want to cause any problems anymore in my neighborhood at my age.
But you want to be educated. You want to know.
Yeah. But I have all this karaoke equipment in my garage that we used to use professionally, and so if you cranked it up, you could probably hear it for half a mile if you wanted to. But you know, the grandkids use it, and I use it sometimes. You know, and I'm always going outside and walking down to the street to see, can I hear that?
Where can I hear it from?
So it doesn't get too loud.
Yeah, and that same thing applies to your car, your vehicle. If you can hear the noise from 50 feet and you can make out the words and things of that nature, or the distinct beat, that's a violation. And
you know, you're saying that it's a violation to have your car radio or sound system turned up too loud.
Right.
Unbelievable.
So in the summertime, when you hear that song that takes you back to your teenage years, you know, you crank it up, it could be a noise violation. We don't usually write. If we write one ticket, we've probably written 100 warnings for, you know, but generally we just have to tell someone, look, turn it down. And I think we've all been sitting at a red light before, and you feel that car pull up beside you.
You feel that bass, you know.
That's a violation, and if the officer is around, they should address that. And
what about, I know when I was growing up, used to be, I guess, I don't know if it was an ordinance or what, but they would give you a ticket for your mufflers your car being too loud.
And there's still a requirement. You have to have a muffler on a car.
Yeah.
You know, the old days, again, we're going to go back to our teenage years, you put glass packs on them or headers, and, you know, and you took the baffle, you know, you didn't have a baffle on your muffler.
Right.
You just had straight pipes.
Right.
You know, and you love to rev it up and then take your foot off it and hear it.
Yeah.
Make it all, you know.
Right.
Yeah, those are violations, you know, and obviously we're telling on ourselves because we did this as teenagers, but there is a requirement. You have to have a muffler on your vehicle. And also on the big trucks that come through town, they can't have what's called Jake brakes. That's those big brakes when you hear them downshift and it makes just that awful noise. You know, they can't use those in the city.
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of the things that
motorcycles,
they've got to have mufflers.
Yeah.
You know, now of course mufflers on motorcycles are a little different than the muffler on a car. But the bottom line is you can't run straight pipes, you can't run your glass packs, you can't run your headers without having the baffles on them.
And I think you just mentioned you don't write a lot of tickets for noise.
We don't. Generally, it's, you know, we like to think of that as an education that, okay, look, let's tell them to turn it down.
Yeah.
But, you know, if the officer catches the same car over and over again, then it's going to have to be time for a citation.
Yeah.
And what gets me, you know, I'm getting on my soapbox here, but I can sit in my office over on Grundy Street, and I'll hear a car coming up Grundy, and I can feel it in the office.
Yeah.
And you know how many times I want to get up and run out and get in my car and go find them and say, turn it down.
Yeah.
You know, that there's other people you have to be considerate of.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Be considerate.
Be considerate of your neighbor.
Exactly, because some people find that offensive, and, or just nerve-wracking, I guess.
Yeah, and someone may say, well, I've got to mow my grass. Okay, if your neighbor lives on one side of you and you know they kind of sleep in which bedroom they sleep in, maybe start on the other side of your house.
Yeah.
You know, and give them a little bit of peace. But, you know, and in the same sense, maybe that person that gets off at 7 o'clock in the morning may have to go to a different room to sleep if they know their neighbor normally, you know, starts their lawnmower on Friday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning. Then, you know, you may have to think about going to another side of the house.
Just for future reference, what is the fine for that?
$165.
$165.
I know it. Every time I stop someone, it's like, do you want to just give the city $165? Because that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, you ran that stop sign. It didn't get you anything other than got you stopped.
Right.
Now the possibility is to take $165 and and you know, and most people you see, they're devastated by the thought of he's about to write me a ticket. Then when I do it and just give them a warning, and I make sure they know the chief stopped you. This is not, you know, you've got stopped for running a stop sign. It could be a $165 fine. I'm gonna give you a warning. Take it to heart and slow down and obey the laws.
And I would guess that just about anything you get a ticket for, if you have to go to court with the court costs, you're looking at it close to
even if the judge dismisses it, you're still going to pay some type of court cost.
Right.
That could be $50, could be $75.
Right.
You're going to pay something.
Right.
And oftentimes the judge may dismiss it not because the officer was wrong, but the judge is giving you a break because it's your first offense, first time you've been in there. But you're still going to probably come out. Very few people, very rarely have I heard of anyone coming out with absolutely nothing.
Right.
You know, unless the officer were to go in and say, Judge, I'd like to have this dismissed. Now, if the officer goes up and said, you know, then the judge generally is not going to assess anything.
Right.
But, take your time, be considerate of others, stop at the stop sign, slow down. You know, and we've talked about this over and over. It's just amazing on how many people will speed past you to get to a red or run through a yellow red light just to get stopped by the next red light.
Absolutely.
And you pull up beside them like you're a turtle, and you look over at them like, well, that didn't do you a bit of good.
And that happens all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
You know.
But you know, on the downside, if you get caught by the police, you could very well be looking at $165 for that offense. Now, I hear on the radio sometimes an officer saying, when they're calling the dispatcher, telling them what the disposition is, saying, you know, 2 citations, 3 citations, 4 citations. And it's like, what have they done? They're letting them drive off. So my first thought is, what happened? And it could be, you know, when you get stopped, the first thing we're going to ask for is your driver's license, your insurance, and your registration.
Right.
There's 3 things right there that, you know, if your driver's license is expired, you're going to get a citation. If you don't have insurance, there's no discussion. That's a ticket.
Right.
If you don't have your registration, there's a ticket.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about why you got stopped in the first place.
Right. Stop
Sign, red light. That right there could be potential for 4 citations. Now you take that at $165 a piece.
That's pretty serious.
We're talking $600.
Yeah.
And I want to
say, if your initial reason for them stopping you was the fact that you felt like you needed to go 60 between one red light and another, which saved you no time.
Or you wanted to roll through that stop sign and just keep on going.
Right.
Or just anything.
Right.
Just anything. Think about it, because it's costly. Not only will it cost you from a court standpoint, but those citations get sent to the state,
right?
And if appropriate, points will be added to your driver's license. Now, just think of that one citation, what it affects. Your insurance is going to see it. Your driving record may get affected. It's going to hit your pocketbook, and then, you know, whatever else may come along with it. So it's not worth it. Slow down, take your time. From a driving standpoint, be considerate of your neighbor from a noise standpoint. And, you know, I don't want to say it, but let's all sing Kumbaya.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's all just get together and sing Kumbaya.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's what we deal with on a daily basis.
Right.
And as the weather is like it is now, starting to warm up, we're going to get more and more of those type of calls.
Yeah. All right, folks. Good information from Chief Paul Blackwell, and you really should heed that information because heed those warnings because it could cost you some significant.
It very
money.
well could.
Paul, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Always great
All right.
information. We'll be right back in just a moment, folks. Right after this.
Partners for Healing provides medical care to the working uninsured of Coffee, Franklin, and Moore counties. We are in Tullahoma from 8 to 5, Monday through Thursdays, and in Manchester on Fridays from 8 to 12. We provide primary medical care and offer an in-house disease management program.
My name is Rosie Mitchell, and I would just like to say I am blessed to have partners in my life.
Please call 455-5014 for more information. Thank you for being one of our Partners for Healing.
Hello, this is Janie Price. When my husband Ray Price would tour across the country, his favorite place to dine was Cracker Barrel Old Country Store locations. His favorite thing to order was the Uncle Herschel.
And the beauty of it all is forever. You'll be holding me too.
I miss Ray dearly, and I'm so proud that his last album, Beauty Is, The Final Sessions, is available at his favorite restaurant.
A love affair to remember.
The project includes a duet with Martina McBride and harmony vocals from Vince Gill. Ray believed this to be the best recording he had ever made.
Oh, I wish I was 18 again.
I think you'll agree when you pick up your copy of Beauty Is, The Final Sessions at a Cracker Barrel Old Country Store location near you or at crackerbarrel.com.
A world without breast cancer is a world with more birthdays. And signing up for the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk will help us get there faster. The American Cancer Society invests in groundbreaking breast cancer research, and we're part of every community. In fact, 1 in 2 women newly diagnosed with breast cancer turns to us for support. Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org. Together, we can finish the fight against breast cancer.
One of the things that I get to do every year, which is an honor, and I've done it for several years, is to be part of the selection process for American Legion Post 43 for the American Legion Boys State candidates. And it is so important. You know, a lot of these young men, matter of fact, one of them, Mr. Celeberti, who pushed through and asked to be able to run for alderman at 18, was one of our Boys State candidates and went to Boys State last year. And a lot of these young people don't understand how it's all about how government is run. And it is a great opportunity. It's something that these young men will carry with them all through their lives because they'll meet some of the top people in the state, the movers and shakers, and folks that they'll be friends with. I still am in touch with some of my Boys State friends 50 years later. So we went to the high school the other day and met this year's candidates and got a little video. So here we go. John Gray here, the Boys State chairman for American Legion Post 43 in Tullahoma, and we have our 4 Boys State candidates with us here today from Tullahoma High School. We'll start off first with John Cardosi right here, and Brendan Atkins, and this young man over here is Levi Burns, and this is Cooper Yoder. And gentlemen, I want to congratulate all of you and tell you that this is an honor. A lot of people don't understand what Boys State is all about, but it is put on by the American Legion in the state of Tennessee, and it is a week's worth of learning about government and how government works. And we don't have a whole lot of that taught in our school systems anymore, and it is very important to know as you continue to go and grow how you're represented in your life and how government actually works. And what they do there is, I want you guys, all of you, to understand, I know you go to the same school together, you might be friends, you might not be friends, you won't be with each other. This is you will have an opportunity, because the people who are there are the brightest and the best. And you will be placed in a city, and inside that city there will be people, young men from all over the state, and it's a great opportunity. Allow yourself to open up and meet new folks and learn and make friends there. I went to Boys State. Let's see, this will be my 50th anniversary of graduating, so 51 years ago. I still have conversation with some of the people I met at Boys State. As you go to college and as you go on in life, you'll run across these people, because they're the upper crust, just like you guys are, that are going to be the ones that move and shake and make things happen in your generation. And so that's why it's so very important to allow yourself, don't prejudge anybody for any reason, allow yourself to hold this whole wonderful week of information and walk away from it, number one, understanding more about your government, number two, with some great new friends. And I want you guys all to realize, now we only have 3 this year, and we have one alternate. I want you guys to all realize, all of you are Boys State candidates. You were all chosen. Put this on your resume. Even as you go on in through life, when you go before a job, when you're doing something and you want to tell people, I was elected and chosen to go to Boys State in the state of Tennessee, it's a very important credential to have. Okay? And so, we've had a lot go on. Last year we had Celebrity. What's his first name? Michael Celebrity goes up there. Jason Guo goes up there. These kids came back, and I call them kids, young men came back and sought me out, as did the young Nelius, Andrew, to thank me. They didn't have a clue what they were getting ready to get involved in. Michael got so excited about all of it, he's trying to run for alderman and get the age changed down to 18, to where he can run for alderman, to where you young people can have an opportunity to be represented in your city government. I'm for it 100%. If you can pick up a gun and go die for your country at 18, you ought to be able to represent yourself at 18. Those are the type of things you'll learn. And I think, we have John, Levi, and Cooper will be the candidates. Brenda, you're the alternate. Alternate is very important, because you never know. A lot of times alternates end up going. Almost every year the alternate ends up going, because you get hurt, something might happen in everybody's life in the next month that might keep one of the 3 of y'all from going, and that's why the alternate is very important. Even if you don't get to go, you have still been chosen as a Boys State candidate. Okay? Gentlemen, I want to thank you for stepping up and wanting to do this. It's a very important thing. And you will appreciate the opportunity after you get back. And when you get back, we'll get together and talk again. And I just want you to know I'm proud of all of you. I know your family should be proud of you. And you will have a great time and make some really good friends that you'll be able to work with throughout the rest of your young lives. Congratulations, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Appreciate all of you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel that the paint works, where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat. You know, they do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the Paintworks at 1960 North Washington Street and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fix you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paintworks today. Martin Senior. See? Martin Senior. Right there. Martin Senior at the Paintworks. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Cool off this summer at Tullahoma's Splash Island. Fun for all ages. Free 25-foot slides, lazy river, fun water features for toddlers, tasty food items are available. All this and more, only $5 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Sundays, 1 to 5. Join the fun at Tullahoma's Splash Island.
This is John Gray here today, folks, and I have two great Scotsmen here with me, Chuck Lawson on this side and John Scarborough on this side, and they came in their dress to show you there are people in this area and all over this country and the world who love their heritage and are proud of it, and they're getting ready to have their annual Burns dinner.
Yes. Correct.
And that's what they're here to talk to us about today, and so tell it, men.
This is the 258th year of Robert Burns' birthday. For those who don't know who Robert Burns was, he was the poet laureate of Scotland. And so what happens is the Burns Societies hold a dinner each year to celebrate his birthday. So this is the 258th year. Now, for Tullahoma, this is our 22nd year of holding a Burns dinner. The fact is, we get together with other Scotsmen and non-Scotsmen and women, and we meet at the country club on the 29th of this month. It is by reservation only. We have a limited number of seats, and the fact is, for those who haven't decided to come, they need to get their items that they want, what kind of meat, what kind of dinner they want. We have great dinner, we have great music, and we have a good time, as all Scotsmen do. You didn't have to.
I've been several times. It's fun.
We have a little liquid libation from Scotland, of course. But Chuck, we meet. Social hour is at 5 o'clock. The silent auction
begins at 5 as well.
Right, and it runs to about 7:30. We have a number of items that have been contributed by individuals, and we do have a silent auction. That money goes into a fund to give scholarships to individuals who are interested in Scottish heritage, music, weaving, whatever deals with Scotland. That's what they do. Oh yeah, and dance. Yes, we have a real good young lady that we have sponsored for several years, who has her own studio. She brings her young girls there, and it's extremely entertaining evening. and fun. If you go away unhappy, it's your own fault.
Well, and I think, Chuck, there's a little bit of what I enjoyed was there's a little bit of pomp and circumstance that goes along with this about how people are entered in and the bagpipes are played, and there's certain pieces of poetry that are read, and a lot of times you'll have there'll be a guest speaker or a reciter.
Yeah, reciter.
Yes.
I'll recite the Haggis, or the address to the Haggis.
Yes, the address to the Haggis.
Would you like to hear one stanza of that?
Go, tell it.
But mark the rustic haggis fed, the trembling earth resounds his tread. Clapping his Wally Neva blade, he'll mack it whistle, and legs and earms and heats will sned like taps of thistle.
There you go, folks.
That's one of 8.
He is one of the greatest people doing the address to the Haggis you've ever heard. Wow. We have gone to a number of these functions with other Scottish groups, other Robert Burns dinners, and nobody, and I say that, nobody, and you can look at me and say I've been around a long time, nobody does it any better than Chuck Lawson.
That's right.
Wow. Thank you.
And
thank you, John.
Ken Stewart did a great recitation a couple of years ago, and different ones, and we just want you folks to realize that is, a week from Saturday?
Correct.
It is.
It is a week from Saturday, and they need to have their reservations in by Tuesday?
Yes, before Saturday. The Tuesday before Saturday,
For a week from this coming Saturday. Mm-hmm. And how does someone go about where do they call, who do they call to make a reservation?
They'll call me, Chuck Lawson, at 931-455-2925.
I tell you what, folks, don't you miss this. If you've never been, it's something you need to have on your bucket list, and why not go this year? Because you will enjoy it, and you will make it an annual event. Guarantee you that, because it's a great time, because these are great people. Gentlemen, thank both of you very much for your heritage.
Thank you, John.
And the way you respect it, and good luck with the Burns Dinner.
Well, thank you.
The Animal Shelter has served Tullahoma dogs for nearly 30 years. Now, you can help us build a bigger and better no-kill shelter. Your tax-deductible gift is matched dollar for dollar, so come on, bark it forward and donate now to have your tax-deductible gift matched. Make your check payable to the COT Shelter Building Fund and go to tullahomatn.gov to see all the unique gifts available for your generosity. For more details, you can call City Hall at 455-2648.
Did you take your medicine? Oh, gosh, I forgot it.
Her nurse.
You need a claim number?
Her personal assistant.
Let me just grab a...
Her housekeeper. Her cook. Her accountant. When I started taking care of Mom, I didn't realize the challenge of playing so many roles. But above all, I'm still her daughter.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving to connect with experts and other caregivers. Together we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman. And this, John, is Pat Welch. And we're here for segment 47 of the conversation with John and Pat. I'm 47, just short of heaven. No question.
Pat, you know, occasionally when a gentleman does not have very much hair like you nor I, we get teased.
Like you?
Yes. And we have to just take it lots of times, but it seems that the ladies, you know, just get off scot-free, and we've always done a song. Jimmy, my brother, does a song. It's called, I Think I'm Going Bald.
Yes.
and it's real cute. It's
John,
real
let me
cute.
ask you, this may be a vanity problem only of myself. When I close my eyes and think of myself, I've got great hair still. And every once in a while, normally I've got used to looking into a mirror, but if I see a reflection in a store door, clear glass, and the sun's hitting perfect, and I first think, who is it? And I realize, oh, that's me without any hair.
Going back, drifting back in your youth, maybe, and remembering that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm still thinking I'm 22 years old. I had nice hair.
But since we have done that song, and I came up with this next song.
You didn't answer the question whether you thought the same, John. Do you see yourself as bald now or not?
Well, sometimes not. Don't get too deep into that. But occasionally, after we do I Think I'm Going Bald, we'll do this song.
Okay.
This is for the ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Even up the playfield.
Yeah.
I can't figure my baby out. She's either up or she's down. She's either wearing a smiley face or wearing an awful frown. When she's in those terrible moods, she's cranky and acting strange. I just get back out of the way until her hormones change. Singing about the hormones, ooh, yeah, women and the hormones. Wish my baby didn't have none of them pesky little hormones. Sometimes Sweetie tells me that I'm her Romeo, and I'll think to myself it ain't nothing about women I don't know. She'll give me a kiss and I'll strut around just like I'm the cock of the walk. Next thing you know, I've made her mad and triggered her hormones off. Singing about the hormones, ooh, yeah, women and the hormones. Wish my baby didn't have none of them pesky little hormones. I know Sweetie loves me, she's so tender and soft. She's just plagued with hormones, Lord knows it ain't her fault. I know she'll stand beside me throughout thick and thin. I don't blame her, but she gets mad. She says, hormone time again. Singing about a hormone, ooh, yeah, women and a hormone. Wish my baby didn't have none of them pesky little hormones. Singing about hormones, yeah, women and their hormones. Woo.
John, that's pretty clever.
Yeah, sometimes.
But you know, you can't. If you accuse one of them of having some kind of hormone problem, they got to deny it if they get all crossed and they played right into your hands.
You're gonna get me in trouble, and you're gonna get in trouble if we keep talking about that.
Let's go to something else then.
Yeah, we're going to talk about softball in Tullahoma. Years ago, there used to be, of course, they have fast pitch ladies high school softball, and then Motlow plays fast pitch. But years ago, there were around this town in the early 70s through the 80s, maybe there were so many softball teams, slow pitch softball.
It was really, really big, and we had the recreation department had still got several fields, but they had even more than then. They were incredibly maintained.
Yeah.
And we'd have tournaments after tournaments in the summer where there were just thousands of people brought to town.
I know Paul Keller brought a guy here one time, and his name was Crusher. I don't really know what his real name was. But he was that person that would hit home runs nearly every time he got up there, and I think just paid him a minimum fee to come and do that. And
one of the I believe it was the field closest to the highway over at Wagner Park. Still there now. They said pitch after pitch, he's putting them up in the trees.
Crusher.
Yeah,
I'm going to look him up on the internet sometime, see what his real name might be.
It'd be either a WWE wrestler or this guy.
Keller Chrysler, you remember Paul Keller? He had a team, A&G, Aero, Flea Market, Callaway's, Rigney, 41 Drive-In, Air Force, Worth, WJIG, Diner, Business Card, Tullahoma Power System, Bassmasters, Genesco, Kill Drillers. That was just the men's team in town. Then you had ladies' team, and then you had church league teams, some industrial teams. I mean, softball was a big thing, and maybe people work longer hours where they can't feel like they can play after work.
It seemed like it changed almost overnight. You know, there was a real demand for a really long time, but when it fell out of favor. It fell out of favor.
It did. There was I can't remember the name of the organization that oversaw softball in the beginning, but Paul Keller came along later with AAA softball. USSSA. Philip, put up that team picture, please. This is a team that I played for. I played with Keller also, but I played with Ben Jordan and WJIG. And I want to point out the players on this team because they were good guys. First is Dennis Nesbitt on his knee, and Kenny Parker.
That's going across on the knee from left to right.
Yes.
Correct. Keep
Jackie
going.
Dickey, Mike McKenzie, Doc McKenzie, Larry Mackin, who was out at Motlow. He played a shortstop for us, I think. Randy Cunningham and Ben's Jordan there. And you notice Ben's doesn't have a hat on there.
That could have been one of the few times ever.
Yeah, and then on the back row, Ricky German, myself, Don Phelps, Jerry Farrah, J.R. Farrah, Stan Lindsay, Sammy Edcock, who's deceased, Kenny Parker, and on that first row, Wayne Limbaugh, and then Ed Jordan, who was the owner of JIG and sponsor of our team. But also on the team was Gary Lohorn, and he was not in the picture. But
John, a lot of y'all kind of went back and forth from Keller's team to WJIG. Was there any kind of monetary?
No.
What was the negotiating tool there?
I didn't negotiate. I just went to another team. I just felt like it's time for me to go somewhere else. I played with Keller, and we had a good team.
Well, that team you just had up there was a fine
They
team.
were a good
Those
team,
great,
and these were young
players.
guys. Most of them were young guys back at that time, out of high school, and they were good ball
Philip, can you
players.
put that picture back up there? John said something about Larry Mackin that played out at Motlow. He's
He was a
in the
basketball
dark
player.
jersey, kneeling. He's the one on the right of the dark jerseys, and he probably weighs 125 pounds if he's lucky.
Yeah.
And he couldn't have been but about 5'6".
Boy, he was good.
Oh, he was one of the finest
Smooth.
athletes that's ever been out in our area. He played when Joe Days was coaching the basketball team at Motlow. And if somebody would press, they'd signal for everybody to get on the other end of the floor, and he'd bring the ball down by himself.
Perry County. From
That's
Linden, Tennessee.
Lindenn.
And on the back row, second to Wayne, next to Wayne Limbaugh back there, and between he and Stan Lindsay, was Sammy Edcock. And Sammy, as I understand, died in a plane crash. It's been a long, long time ago.
It's been 20 or 30 years ago.
20 or 30 years ago, and that was a tragedy. And then Kenny Parker, down on one knee there, Kenny had a little substance problem, and poor thing, and tragic, yes. But these guys were good. I see them ever so often, and I was married during that time, and all these guys, they were most of them was, I think all of them were single back at that time, and I'd go home to my wife and kids.
I would describe 99% of those boys as single but highly eligible.
We had a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've been Signal Pat, and it's been good to think about WJIG, Keller, and all these other teams. I have a lot of friendships in town from people that I played with back during that day.
That was a great time for city taxes, because there was a whole lot of hotel taxes collected while when those tournaments were going on. They came from all over the country here, some.
Number 47, Pat?
That was 47, John, and it was a great one. Hopefully management's going to let us crawl up on 48. Thank y'all.
We get closer to a world with more birthdays when we take cancer patients by the hand. We help them find answers and guidance and hope, and give them more candles to light. We're the American Cancer Society. Help create a world with more birthdays at morebirthdays.com.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
We're very fortunate today to have a gentleman in the studio with us. His name is Steve West, and he is a Manchester boy who went off and has been successful in the music industry. And he's here today to give us a little bit of his backstory and what he's doing now. And we're just excited to have Steve here. Steve, thank you for being with us.
It's great to be here. Thanks.
And
for
like I said, you're a Manchester boy. When did you graduate from high school in Manchester?
I graduated in '73, left town to go play baseball at Belmont College, then Belmont College,
Right,
Belmont University
right.
now. And got started in record retail right after that, which led to concerts, doing concerts to promote our record stores. And then that led to starting Go West Presents and doing concerts on my own for 25 years.
25 years doing concerts. Who are some of the people that you promoted in concerts? Just to do a little name dropping out there.
Sarah McLaughlin, Dave Matthews Band, Neville Brothers, the band. Gosh, there's all kinds of things. Ice-T. I did Public Enemy. I did all kinds of shows.
Right. And you ended up out of this owning several pieces of property in Nashville as venues.
Right. I started out doing my shows at the Cannery in Nashville. There were 2 rooms there we could play shows, either upstairs at the 300 capacity, downstairs at the about 1,000. And I brought some interesting people like Ladysmith Black Mambazas, that they'd never been to Nashville before. Iggy Pop and Jane's Addiction, alternative 90s guys will know those bands. And then I left the Cannery in 1990 to open up 328 Performance Hall, which was a 1,200 seat venue. And a few times we had more than 1,200 people in.
Fire marshal let you get away with that.
A friend of mine said, make the money when you can.
Yeah, in the music business, that's a staple statement right there.
Especially when, as a promoter, you were at. For me, I was limited to how much money I could make.
Right.
But it was unlimited how much I could lose.
Oh, always.
And you mentioned Joe Sullivan earlier.
Yeah, Joe.
Joe Sullivan told me, we were on a panel one time together, and he said, when I got started in this business, I could make $100,000 on a $10,000 act. Now I can only make $10,000 on a $100,000.
Yeah, that's true.
Shows you how things turned around.
They did, and that was my next question. In dealing with Nashville and the music industry over the last 25 years or so, what are some of the drastic changes that you've seen in the whole music industry scene, but also in the scene what's going on in Nashville?
It's Nashville today. Now, I have not been actively promoting concerts in Nashville for the past 15 years.
Right.
I will still produce some things, but to me the biggest difference is the number of venues. There's so many venues in town, so many clubs. When I was doing these shows in the 80s and 90s, there was 3 or 4 places, a band might go to. Now there's a whole lot more than
everywhere.
that. Yeah. And so, and when I sold 328 Performance Hall in 2000, I opened up another building, an office building that we renovated top to bottom, and that building is now the home of Grimey's Records and the basement, a 100-seat club in the basement.
Right.
And Grimey's Records is one of the top independent record stores in the country. They regularly featured in Rolling Stone writing about vinyl sales particularly.
And that's come back with a vengeance. Vinyl.
They're growing every year.
All these millennials and these young people want vinyl. It sells out before the other stuff does.
Yeah, it's amazing the numbers they're doing there. As a matter of fact, I'll give them a plug. This weekend is Record Store Day. There's going to be an outdoor concert behind the building there at Grimey's.
At Grimey's? Yeah,
in the
wonderful.
basement. Yeah, a lot of good bands there. I don't know what the lineup is, but it's always a good day.
Well, I can remember when I was roaming around downtown or on Music Row a little bit more than I am now. You never could tell what Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, what day you might be going down an alley and there's a tent set up and there's somebody playing music and somebody's promoting and pushing and showcasing somebody.
Right. You're exactly
and
right.
I saw Carl Perkins in an alley down there one day and talking about riding blue suede shoes. And, it's an education. You can get educated just roaming around down there.
He played 328 one time, and it was such a pleasure to meet him and talk to him. And right away, you felt like you'd known him all your life.
He's a genuinely nice man.
I liked him. I was so impressed with him, and I liked him so much. When he died, I went to his funeral down in Jackson, and was sitting there at the funeral, and Winona gets up and does a song for him, and then she says, "Well, George, you want to do a song?" George Harrison pops up and does a song, and George and Ringo were both there at that funeral.
Yeah, that's great.
That was kind of neat to see those guys.
I guess my next question is you've come back to Manchester over the past couple of years. I mean, I'm sure you've visited from time to time, but there's a church downtown, the Old Methodist Church. And,
Church of Christ.
Church of Christ, and that you purchased.
Right.
And have remodeled and using your entrepreneurial spirit and owning buildings and knowing how this functions and how to deal with this. How about giving us a little bit of the story on that? Steve has brought some some pictures where we can see before and after pictures. And I also went over there a couple of weeks ago and videoed what's there now.
Right.
And so why don't we go through that a little bit and let you explain to our audience what you're doing there and what you're trying to achieve.
Okay.
And we'll look at the transformation of that building, because it's beautiful, folks, what you're getting ready to see.
The building at the time when I looked at it was in September of 15, I believe, and it was being used mostly for storage. And it was sort of divided up in some strange ways. So it involved a lot of demo work.
Tell us what this is.
All right, this is a before picture. This was, oddly enough, in the entryway of the building. Over the years, it was last a church in 61. So over the years, a lot of people did some strange things.
Right.
And I found this bathroom at the entranceway of the
and that's under the bell tower.
It's right next to the bell tower. Now that's what it looks like now. So it's changed quite a bit.
Changed a bit. They had that door completely blocked off, right?
The door was blocked off. That's right.
And
yes.
a commode sitting there.
And a commode sitting there. Yeah. And no ceiling.
Okay, what's next? Now,
all right. There was a panel wall that covered the entire east side of the sanctuary, and then another wall that went right up in the middle of the room. And they had, before they covered it, though, they painted the etched glass of the stained glass windows, and those had been covered up for at least 30 years. I don't know exactly how long, but that's what it looks like now.
Isn't that something?
I found found a really pretty light fixture above the drop ceiling in that area.
Yeah, that you could see that on the picture before. You could see that hanging up there. But it was just covered up.
It was covered up, and I found it.
There you go. Now that's where the wall was built, right through the center of the sanctuary.
Right. And you can see there the red carpet and the other carpet that had been there for many years. There was quite a bit of water damage in that corner because it was covered up and they didn't realize the water was coming in.
Right.
And which that also led to termite damage.
And look at it now.
It's a beautiful place.
And that floor was under all of that mess.
Yes, it was under the carpet. And I couldn't wait to get rid of that carpet. I hated that musty smell, you know.
Yeah.
And it doesn't smell like an old building now.
And now all right, here's some more. While we're looking at, go ahead, Philip. Just keep rolling.
All right. I reclaimed a bunch of lumber. I would pull those nails, reuse stuff everywhere I could, trying to cut corners. And so this is where I did that. But this room now has turned, we call this the library side. And we've got what we call the white room. This is the white room.
And so that's where, when people are, because you do rent this out for weddings, for parties, for
receptions, luncheons, all kinds of stuff.
So that's a food prep or a food area. There.
Typically the people are set up buffets over on that side and then go back into the main room to sit down to eat. This is from a view from the back towards the front. We built this bar there, and I don't know if you caught the stained glass windows that were in there, but they had been covered up. On this library side, the stained glass windows had been covered up since 1962, and I uncovered those in March of last year, I think.
That's great.
This is the backstage area, and what you're looking at there, that brick is the original northwest corner of the church. Originally, the church was just a one-room sanctuary, and that's the back door. They did an addition to it in 1951, with all the kids coming on and needing to expand their families and everything. So they built a horseshoe around that and an L-shaped basement down below.
And the last time I was in there, that floor right there couldn't even be distinguished as wood. It was so nasty.
Yeah, we hired some people that did a good job on that floor. This, I believe, was at one time the minister's office, and at another time it was Judge Vance Lowry's office, and now it's one of the dressing rooms, and it's cleaned up real nice.
Isn't that great? So if someone comes there and they're having a wedding reception or a party, they have a bride's place and a groom's place.
I've got 2 rooms set up in white for the brides, and the groom's rooms aren't as nice as
of course not. They don't have to be. We don't care that much.
This is what it looked like on the side where my office is now. There was drop ceiling, again, covering up the old windows and more paneling. There must have been a sale on paneling at some time because paneling was everywhere in that building.
There's always a sale on paneling.
That's my office now.
Yeah, so isn't that beautiful? And tell us about that table. That's a very unique table.
All right. Well, that table, I got that in 1990. I found it at a used school and office furniture place. That's an old Vanderbilt Law School library table.
I'd never seen a table quite like that until I walked in there.
Here's the crazy thing. Sue Banks there in Manchester took me over to show me her space about a half block away. Up at the top of the stairs, she's got one of those tables.
Are you kidding me?
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
And a little bit about some of the pictures around the wall.
The photos on the left side, I produced the Nashville Music Awards for the 5 years that was going on in the mid-90s to 2000. And the piece in the middle is Flatt and Scruggs by this folk artist, Lamar Sorrento, and I love that because when I was a kid, probably with you, when you were a kid,
we watched them every Saturday
night. Well, I watched them Saturday night.
Whenever they were on, I don't remember.
Right.
Morning there was no morning TV.
No, it's cartoons. But, you had Flatt and Scruggs, the Wilburn Brothers, and Porter Wagner Show with Dolly Parton and Norma Jean.
Yeah, you're exactly correct.
And then over on the right, that's some of my old concert posters.
Very good.
Los Lobos and Suzanne Vega and Lucinda Williams.
Lucinda Williams. She was in here one day.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I'll tell you about that. It's a strange deal. You know what? I know you are doing the weddings and receptions and now what about music there? You're working on a band of your own right now, aren't you, a little bit?
I've been playing in bands. I sort of rediscovered that around 2000, and when I sold 328 Performance Hall, I wanted to do some writing, and that led to me playing more, and then I hooked up with some other people. And the first band I was in was Zigzag, and we were together for about 5 or 6 years, and then we morphed into Zigzag Mojo. We added Jonelle Mosser.
Love Jonelle.
Who's a great singer, and so that was Zigzag Mojo. But we wanted to, a couple of us wanted to do a little more blues and R&B stuff. So we hooked up with some amazing musicians, and we now have a band called The Solution.
That's a great name.
And it's Solution. Solution.
Right.
So we've got one of the best guitar players in Nashville and one of the best lead singers, female vocalists. They're both amazing. The toughest thing for us booking shows is their availability because they're so in demand.
Right.
But we're going to be right here, in Manchester next Friday night, and money back guarantee. If you don't like us, you can leave.
So that's going to be and let's get this out there again. The name of your venue, your event center,
is the Church at 117.
The Church at 117, and he's in the process of having signage designed and ready to put signage on it.
Right.
But for those who don't know, that is 117
East Fort Street.
Right. So you go to the back of the square, and you're on the right-hand side of the courthouse. You go right past the right-hand side of the courthouse. You get to the turn or the corner there. Take a right, and it's right next to the old post office.
Exactly. Right.
So, and you're going to be there with your band next Friday night.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock till.
We'll be doing 2 pretty long sets.
Okay. All right. And what's the tally on that?
$10. $10 admission.
What a deal! And you've got some great Nashville players coming in.
Right.
And how wonderful is that?
That's great.
Hometown, man.
And we're using
hometown.
We're also using it to promote the Church at 117 Book Exchange over in the old
the library.
And when I was a kid, the Manchester Coffee County Library was there on the west side of the building. And so I found some of the old library shelves, and I put them up at the front and brought in most of my books from my collection. And we're going to start swapping books with people.
That's
encourage
wonderful.
People reading. More people
That's
to
wonderful.
Read. Yeah.
Steve West.
Yeah.
Welcome home, my friend.
All right, it's great.
Thank you so much for being with us today, and we will continue to promote whatever you're doing. Know that you're always welcome.
I appreciate that.
To come over here and spend some time with us, and it's great to have someone with your abilities and your career in the industry that you're in to share information and knowledge with all of us around here to help make our small towns vibrant and full of wonderful, fun things to do.
Well, Manchester's a wonderful place, as is Tullahoma. And I'm happy to be there. There's this great energy downtown, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
All right, Steve West. Folks, we'll be back next time.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Mane. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterware.
Yes, Roosterware is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterware specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with the material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Roosterware.
Come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com
to find our handcrafted designs for
the Cock of the Walk.
This is an American Red Cross blood donation alert. The Red Cross is experiencing a severe winter blood shortage. There is an emergency need for blood and platelet donors to give now and help save hospital patient lives. Donations are critically needed so that patients can continue to receive the life-saving treatments they need. Resolve to make a difference and help save lives by giving blood or platelets now. Use the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS to make an appointment.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network. All right, Peggy B, we're back.
We're back,
man,
and
what an exciting bunch of stuff we've had today. You know, this past week was the Special Olympics here in Tullahoma, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and it's always a great event, and people come from all the surrounding counties do that, and we have some video we're going to finish up with here in a minute of the opening ceremonies and the torch. And
that's happened for how many years? Do you know?
Oh, I guess this is probably the 40th.
That's wonderful.
40th year that's taken place here. And I guess it was, who was it? Rose Kennedy started that because she had a child that was special needs.
Yes.
And started this whole Special Olympics thing. And
I love it.
Thank them and her for starting that, and thank you folks for caring and understanding the needs and wants of that part of our society, because who's got it right? Do we have it right, or do they? The love there is unbridled, uncontrolled, and we put way too many credentials on everything we have to do. They're just open with love.
They're open with love.
Open with love.
That's a good way to put it.
Special Olympics. Thank you, folks, for watching. We'll see you next time.
Come with me. So, again, Jimmy Clark and Vernon Holder. In our first full Coffee County Independent. Franklin County, Moore County. Next, skills development. Memorial. Following Clark Memorial, Lincoln County High School. Next, Westwood Middle School. Shelbyville Central High School. With the Purple Banner, Community High School. Following Community High School, Community Vikings. Number 21 with us, Cascade. Following Cascade, Smith Middle School. Number 23 is Fayetteville High School. Number 24, Coffee County Middle School. Number 25, Deerfield Elementary. Following Deerfield Elementary, number 26, New Life. And wrapping us up, number 27, Lincoln County Skills. Please stand and join James Presley of Skills Development Center here in Tullahoma as he leads us in singing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed, that the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
On my way in from Murfreesboro, I saw some officers running in our Olympic torch. And following a tradition as old as the Olympic Games themselves, the Special Olympics flag will be carried around the track by Kyle Marler when he gets here. But first, we've got officers coming in from all over the area. And if you listen right now, you can hear them on their way. Ronnie Gray, Jamie Newman, Scott Jones, John Sweeney, Raymond Castillo, Carol Lemons, Smita Patel, Chase Sun.
Father, we thank you so much for the privilege to be together today, and thank you for what this means to each and every one of us. We thank you for this beautiful day you've given us, and we thank you for the families and for the participants as they share this time with those of us from the community. We ask your blessings on those who participate. Thank you for those who lead out and do the things that have to be done moment to moment to make this such a successful day. As a community, we give you thanks for this day and ask your blessings on it, on everyone who participates. We do this in your precious name. Amen.
The Air Force is celebrating its 70th birthday this year. So let's all Together say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Colonel. Our athlete of the year this year is Mr. Brad Reeves from Moore County Independent. Brad, congratulations. And our coach of the year, Miss Amelia Majors from Skills Development Center. Thank you very much. All right, again, another hand for Amelia Majors from Tullahoma High School, Coach of the Year, and Brad Reeves, Athlete of the Year. We would also like to thank Ms. Kathy Rose, Principal of Tullahoma High School, for allowing us to use Vulcan Stadium this morning. And as we get ready for today, always a tradition, we lead our Special Olympics oath. Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. We now declare the 2017 Area 13 Special Olympics 39 Summer Games open.